At Far-Flung Tin Can, we are bridging the gap between two diverse worlds, the Christian home and the mission field, through missions awareness, missions engagement, and worship in everything. We're traveling the world to the most remote places on the planet to find those who have laid down everything to say yes to God. And whoever said missions can't be fun? God is calling. Will you take the call?
Far-Flung has been traveling throughout the Philippines with one-way outreach. One-way outreach has planted over 1,000 churches in the Philippines, and they're not slowing down.
We are here at One Way Outreach in Paradiso. We did a little bit of a puppet show here with Adventures with Far-Flung with Kyle the Otter, and we got to paint faces, and they put on a little production for us, a show, and they danced and they sang, and it was paradise. It was Paradiso. It was absolutely wonderful.
Happening?
You know what? I do not know. But I think that we are about to travel to our next destination on motorcycles. Yes.
Motorcycles.
It's the first firm yes I've gotten from Pastor Rio all day. All the rest has been like, I don't know, something. We're going somewhere.
What about our bags?
Are they going with us? I think they're going with us. I'm a little nervous about that. You packed full-size duffel bags and full-size rolling, whatever they were, suitcases. And I think we're gonna have to find a way to put those onto the motorcycles with us. So we're gonna see if this goes well. Math and physics. Math and physics say this isn't gonna happen. Math and physics. And I'm about to sit my whole body.
We got on the thing, and I'm thinking, man, this is gonna be a crazy 15-minute wobble ride, Like 15 minutes on this thing is gonna be insane. I don't know why I was thinking 15 minutes. That just seemed like the limit you would do this. So I can't hear right now. I just have a dirt bike motor just resonating in my head. So then I'm like, Elton, I asked him how long is this gonna take. He was like, about an hour. Like, an hour? Then we stop immediately and get gas. We see the other people. So I'm like, so like an hour? He's like, hour and a half. So we're on an hour 50 minutes right now. 2 wrecks, near-death experiences, wet boot, because I tried to ride across on a dirt bike.
I love how none of this part was even mentioned.
No.
At all. It's been 2 hours.
Keep it going. What's going on?
I've never felt my heart in my throat to that degree, but that rush of adrenaline kept me going for the next hour, so we were good to go. Thank you.
I really think this is the most remote church I've ever been to. We drove 8 hours to Marabacuan the other day.
Don't let the paved road fool you that we're not remote.
No. Do not let this paved airstrip of a road fool you.
They were doing city planning and they made a massive mistake.
And they were like, no, in the city. So let me explain something to you. Something happened over that last, was it 12 hours we were on that thing? Something happened over that last 2 hours to where I first got on it, did not want to do it. I was so tense. I had a different perspective from everyone else that did this because I was the only one riding backwards. So we were just going and all of a sudden there's water and I'm like, okay, how far does this go? Are we in a river now? There's rocks and there's pavement. The only thing I hear, like the only thing I knew is to brace myself is Eljon would go, oh no. And I'm like, well, here we go, something bad's about to happen. I never turned to look, I just accepted my fate. So I did find out the first 45 minutes I wasn't having a great time. We were on there for so long. But I did find out that, I found out the point where I just don't care if I live anymore. It was 45 minutes. It takes me 45 minutes just to accept
And let go.
any fate. My show, listen, I was doing this and we're going uphill. And it's doing this. I've done push-ups for 2 hours, literally holding myself. I got real confident at one point and I was waving at people and then we hit this bump and the back wheel dropped. I hit my head on the top of the thing. I slid out. I have like an 8-inch perch I'm sitting on. I slid halfway out. I grabbed the poles again and I was like, okay, you are still on here? Like humans, we get overconfident. A little bit of experience. Then I realized we were still on the thing. Humbled me a little bit. But we're here. We're in this place that we're in. This is, well, we do Far-Flung trips. Where we're at is out there.
It doesn't feel like, it feels like such a lie because of this paved road.
This airstrip they paved coming down here. But we are out there. I got, listen, Eljon and Nova, they did not, when they heard the guy say it was going to be an hour, which it wasn't, they looked at me. And I was like, well, guys, welcome to Far-Flung. And he goes, do you normally do this? I was like, oh yeah. There's usually a point where you're just like, I really don't want to do what we're about to do. And then you do it anyway. And I was like, so this is gonna be pretty bad. Tonight's gonna be pretty bad. Tomorrow's gonna be pretty bad. And then we gotta come back out. That'd be pretty bad. Then we'll be at the hotel, so it'll be good. And they were just like, okay. Okay.
You live in the Philippines.
Yeah.
Have you ever experienced?
No. Not in the city.
Have you ever been this far into the Philippines?
Never ever.
Barbecue potato.
Big river.
Did you say what just happened? No. Siri just picked something up.
Connection with the Agusan River, which is the biggest crocodile here in the Philippines.
What?
The Lulong crocodile.
What about the crocodile?
Why is it
The
this?
biggest in the Philippines.
Is it here?
Yeah, here.
Where's the river?
That's the place at the back.
This is where you said it's fine to. You're joking again. He's joking again. He told me a lady got taken out by a jaguar, and I was like, oh, and I was like, no. I didn't catch it that fast.
You know, when you come on these trips, you make good friends and you make really deep connections with people. And I know that I made a really deep connection with Pastor Rio. And man, I just really, really grew to love Pastor Rio. But don't show him this, because I don't want him to get all like, woohoo, I'm cool. You know, he thinks he's cool already, so we don't have to do that. Why are you not filming this?
Judgmental Nancy.
Judgmental Joe would have been
Kyle.
What?
You gotta be.
What?
I legit thought it was a snake. It's a giant centipede. Which is, I guess, is still amazing.
We are so remote right now.
Horrible! Alright, start over.
We're seeing this new church being built, which I just cannot fathom how they can get all of this here, and we could barely get here on a bike.
Alright, we just arrived to Old Mayem, which is a village here. They have a paved road. I was asking about that because it makes no sense. You are literally nowhere, and there's pieces of paved road. The government gave these lots to these people to move here, and then they had to pave a road for them. So they've only been ministering in this area for 4 months. They have a temporary place with a church sign on it that they're meeting. That's where we're sleeping tonight. And then they said, we're gonna walk down this path and have church tonight. And I think we still are. But they are in the middle of building it. They can build these churches in like 7 to 10 days. They have a new church up and going. So they've been here ministering with an established church for 4 months. It's amazing to see every step of the process. So I think we're having church. We're gonna see what happens now. Okay.
No. Oh, you were giving me the phone.
Tell us about what's happening.
Right now, one of the villagers here opened up her home to us and went to go sleep in the church. So thank you so much for that.
What's her name?
I don't know. Do you know her name?
Of course.
He said, of course. I don't know. She literally just grabbed us and said, here, come here. And then gave us her home. We set up hammocks in it. And then she was like, thank you. And then made a joke about having multiple homes and then went to go sleep in the church. So we are here. We are setting up camp. It's actually a fantastic night. It's cool. Are you trying to give me the phone?
Yeah, talk to Jeremy.
It is cool. Jeremy is so relaxed. He is just feeling the best he's ever felt. And Kyle's hammock has snapped 3 times.
We didn't have everything we needed. And it snapped, yes. You need some bug spray, Jeremy?
Don't.
We are on the island of Mindanao in the Philippines, and we are out in the middle of nowhere, and it's amazing. This is Far-Flung. Like, way too difficult to be here, to have any business of being here, but here we are. We're getting our hammocks set up in a home that was offered to us just randomly when we got here. We got our hammocks set up. As we're setting up our hammocks, we hear this singing, and they are now in the church. Well, they're outside of the church actually because they don't fit, and they're just singing praises, and it's beautiful. There's a ton of people out here.
This church is 4 months old.
Yeah, this is one of those surreal moments. You kind of just like, we're out here, way out here, what it took to get out here, It's the middle of the night, and you're doing this with these people, and it's amazing.
What is faith? Faith is believing in something that you can't exactly see. Faith is saying, I believe in God. In the Bible,
Sa Biblia,
it says that we should walk with faith
uban ang pagtuo,
and not with our eyes.
dili sa atong mga mata lang.
That sounds very crazy.
Kana.
When I walk,
Kung ako maglakaw,
I use my eyes.
gagamit ko sa akong mata.
But the Bible says,
Pero ang Biblia nagingon,
when we walk,
kung kita maglakaw,
we don't walk with eyes.
dili ta maglakaw pinagi sa atong mga
We walk with faith that God is with us.
maglakaw ta nga dunay pagtuo.
There was a story in the Bible.
Naay story sa Biblia.
They were on a boat
Kaya lakaw, gamit ka ng mga mata.
in the Bible.
Sa Biblia,
They were on a boat. And when they were on the boat, it began to rain.
yung ala sila sa bangka, nagsugod nagkulan.
And everyone in the boat got inside. They looked out on the water.
Og ningtanaw sila sa tubig.
And they saw a man with long hair.
Og nakakita sila lalaki nga taas og buhok.
Long beard. And it was not me.
Di na ako, ay siya, di na.
It was Jesus.
Mao to si Jesus.
He was walking.
Siya naglakaw.
And he said, Pedro,
Pedro,
come here.
ali dire.
Eritale. And he said, I can't do that. And Jesus said, don't walk with your eyes.
Og ingon ang Ginoong Jesus ayaw lakaw pinagi sa imong mga mata.
Walk with your faith.
Lakaw. Oo.
Jesus wants us to trust him.
Si Ginoong Jesus gusto niya nga mosalig ta sa iyaha.
Even if it's impossible.
Bisan pagkana imposible kaayo nga mahitabo.
Welcome. I'm Brian the
So
camera.
he's just screaming in the background.
We are so glad you're here to spread the news of Jesus.
Okay, so we spent the night here in this very remote barangay, and we are right now passing out books and crayons to the kids. Zeke is reading the Adventures of a Far-Flung story to them. We had a good night. Somebody opened up their home. Today we are doing kids ministry here, and then we're getting back on the wobble wobble, and we've got a long ride back out to civilization, back to our van. Starting to find out that this ministry just has churches everywhere. You cannot get away from it. If you come all the way out here, you're going to see that sign. So one thing that's really cool is leading Aljon and Nova. They've been doing illustrations for us for over 3 years now. And we're out here and they're getting to see their work like at its final destination, something they've never experienced before. They do all these illustrations, they send them to us, and that's kind of it. But this morning they're out here in the middle of nowhere, away from civilization, and they're watching 100 kids hold their work and read their work, and they're about to do coloring in them and everything else. I just walked over to them and I was basically like, what better publishing could you possibly get? Like, this is what you're working for. And she was like, I love it.
It's so cool to see these kids doing the coloring page. It's just heartwarming to see them excited. Probably most of these kids it's their first time holding a crayon, or it's because they don't have access every day to do this stuff. And I asked some of the locals, like, is there a school in this community? And they said, no. So I can't imagine,
What we've been doing the last few years is handing out these Adventures with Far-Flung books about the areas that we go to, and we've been working with Aljon. They are so excited about these stories and coloring them, and it's always so beautiful seeing this. You see kids drawing, but like knowing how excited they are and that they don't have books of their own and that they get to tell the story about their home place is such a special thing. So I want to say thank you so much. If you've given toward this and you've been able to help us print these books, it's usually like $1 a book to print. So thank you so much if you've helped us print these books and get these to kids, to get a story about life and hope and then give them a fun activity. It really is a special thing that they won't forget. And they keep these books. They take them to their homes and they read them over and over and look at the pictures. They never forget this. It's interesting because every church that I know wants to grow. They all believe in multiplication. And it's almost like one-way outreach is counterintuitive because one-way outreach, since they know that they want to plant a church a year, throughout the year they're looking for their best leaders in their church. And then they release that leader to go and spread the gospel further and plant a new church. So you're investing in people and you're seeing your strength of your ministry and then you're letting it go. And so that's what's so compelling to me, because it's not just multiplication of growth and acceleration. It's almost multiplication by division. It's, okay, here's the best thing that I have. This is the best leader that I have. This is who I see has the most potential. I give it up. It no longer supports my ministry and no longer brings me value. I divide that off of what I need so that the kingdom of God can multiply throughout the island. And so that's why I think it's multiplication by division. So you've got all of these pastors that have a DNA. They have the culture of we plant churches, we plant more churches, we go further than what has been reached. And so it was so encouraging as we were traveling 2 hours on these hobbles, that we've got these pastors going alongside with us. And you've got an area with a superintendent, and there's 13 churches in an area. And all these pastors are coming together to go do outreach in the next neighboring area. You just don't see that in the States. Let's get 13 pastors together so that we can all go to the next unreached place next to us, and we're gonna reach the lost and we're gonna spread the gospel, and then we're gonna look among us and say, who of you have someone that could be sent here? And then they send another one there and they branch out and they're just going further and further and further. And that's how they have planted 1,000 churches. And that's how they are planting 5 churches or so a month, because they're not afraid to lose church members. They're not afraid to lose what they consider their best so that the gospel can be reached somewhere else. That self-sacrifice, that is what is so impressive to me, that I met 25 of 700 pastors that all get it. I met all these different pastors that just get it. They're sold into the concept of church planting and expanding. And so the fact that all of them have that culture is so impressive to me. And then you think, wow, they've done this 1,000 times. That is what's mind-blowing to me about this ministry.
From his dad, it's always been like a church is never built by the organization itself. It's like, if this is where you belong, this is your church, the members help build the church so that they have a connection, like an ownership of the building.
And so they are all invested into this building. They have something at stake. This has cost them something to come together and build this church. And then One Way Outreach comes in and usually puts the roof on. And so I can't wait for Far-Flung to be able to come alongside them and just help them expedite their church building. So that's not something that One Way has to worry about. I'm ready to get into the roofing business.
We just take the work of the Lord, which the Lord has given to my dad. And the verse that really made this work alive, that is found in the book of Revelation, chapter 3, verse 8, that it says, I know thy works, behold, I have set before thee an open door, and no man can shut it. For thou hast a little strength, and hast kept my word, and hast not denied my name. The work of the Lord names One Way Outreach. and it is an international movement committed to the Great Commission. One Way stands for our unchanged message that is found in John 14:6. Outreach stands for our unlimited mission, Matthew 28, verses 19 to 20. The vision that the Lord has given to our late founder, Ben Gaetano, who is my father, to plant a church in every village, every town, every city throughout the Philippines. Today, we continue to fulfill the work towards that vision. We have not limited to it only in the Philippines alone, but to other countries as well. The goals and workable strategies of the work of God that is found in the book of Ephesians, chapter 4, raise up responsible leaders, reproducing members, at the same time multiplying churches.
Far-Flung Tin Can is spreading the gospel and helping others in the most remote places on earth. Our work in the Philippines is ongoing and you can be a part. You can apply to join us on our monthly Far-Flung trips, or you can help send us to far-flung places by giving. Visit farflungtincan.com today.